Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Sevens at the Olympics. This game has a lot on the line for South Africa to qualify for the quarterfinals. They need to win this game by 21 points. At the moment, Samoa have qualified for the quarterfinals, but if South Africa win this by 21, that will knock the Samoans out. South Africa will take their spot. And in the quarterfinals, and the way that it sits, that would mean that they will face the first team in Pool A. So for anyone who doesn't know who that is going to be the winner of New Zealand versus Ireland. So there's a lot on the line for these sides, that is for sure, but we will look through at these starting lineups as this contest is only around 5 minutes away. Japan, they've had some decent showings throughout their first two fixtures, but both of their games they have lost by the margin that South Africa do have to win by. So the question is, can Japan have a better start to of day two than they had in day one, or will we see the South Africans prevail? Looking through at their starting lineup, it will be Ryan Oosterhuizen, Impi Visa, and Zane Davids. Once again, going with a lot of size. Christy Hrubela, who has started the last two games, will instead be making his way off of the bench. Tristan Lades, Selvin Davids, that man is the X factor and the key for the South Africans in this matchup. Roscoe Speckman does come into the starting side, and then Shilton van Wyk, the last man for South Africa. In the starting lineup for the Japanese, it is Tiger Ishida, also Kippy Ishida, the captain, one of the smallest players on the Sevens circuit, but he has a lot of heart, and he'll be wanting to see his side do well in this match. Matsumoto is there at number 4 with Joshua Karevi, who was a real handful for New Zealand in the first contest. Ueda is there at number 9, and also Okudaira at 11, and then Koga as the number 12. But this Japanese side is well and truly up for this challenge. South Africa, they have not had their best Olympics competition so far. They have lost both their games, but the benefit of Sevens is it can change in an instant, and in this case, all they need to do is win this game by 21 points. It sounds like a large margin, but when we look through at this Blitzboks side, at times you wonder how they wouldn't win a game of this occasion and with this pressure by that type of margin, just because normally it's the big games that we see South Africa step up. We've seen it in the past. It'll be difficult for South Africa, says Sanatane. It will be, because the big thing is Japan laid up against New Zealand, scored a try, and that actually cut down New Zealand's points differential for the game. And Japan will not want to kick this ball out at the end of the contest. And it's those final few moments that could actually determine who makes their way through and who ends up missing out in this one. But hopefully you guys are all enjoying the Sevens coverage so far. We have got plenty more coming. Like I mentioned, the quarterfinals are just around the corner. Also New Zealand versus Ireland, which will help determine the last sides who do qualify. That's a great point. Hamish says HD23. A close game. Samoa are in the quarterfinals, says Chris Seo. Exactly right. Samoa at the moment have a 20-point points differential bonus over the top of South Africa. South Africa by 23, says Frederick. So by that logic, they would end up making their way through. Ireland versus Fiji. If Ireland lost, says Sanatana, yeah, or New Zealand versus Fiji, which would be a massive one to have as a quarterfinal in the Olympic Sevens. That is for sure. All the Sevens quarterfinals are all taking place tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, or this morning, I should say, 7 a.m. onwards. So for you guys in South Africa, that will be 9 p.m. onwards, heading throughout the night. But South Africa making their way out of the tunnel, like I mentioned. Limited changes for them throughout this competition in terms of their starting lineup. They have gone with Christy Hrubela out of the starting side and instead giving Impi Visa the start. I think that is for the work and the breakdown that Visa does offer. They've also decided to go with Roscoe Speckman in the starting side. I believe that is due to the injury that we saw yesterday, unfortunately, for the South Africans. New Zealand versus Fiji final, says Sean there. It's a possibility, although it's going to be very tricky for those two sides to avoid each other up until the final. I feel like there is a chance that at some point they will overlap. Where can I watch for free? Depends on whereabouts you are in the world. Do let me know what country you are in, and I'll try my best to let you know the broadcasters. But a good way of doing it is to look on the Olympics website. They have got a list of broadcasters in terms of whereabouts you are in the world. Wait, Japan by 67. Says Pads Ablaze. How will Ireland have if they win? So if they win, they will face either South Africa or Samoa. So there's no really easy games for sides heading up to this stage of the competition. I like how the ref let the game flow in the Fiji versus France match, says Lilia B. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether or not the New Zealand referee here, Hogan, is going to be able to do the same for for Japan versus South Africa. Roscoe Speckman, though, anytime that man is on the field, he just has pure pace. There's the power of Visa, Davids, and Ryan Oosterhuizen. He's been a little bit unlucky over the last couple of games. Oosterhuizen has been quite heavily penalised, which is something that they will have to make sure they're a lot more clinical in. It's less penalties, less handling errors. Well, in Greece, they don't show 7, so I don't know where else to watch. Yeah, that is a tricky one, isn't it? Because I guess in Greece, seeing as they don't have a side in the 7s, that might just be somewhere. Do you have a VPN by any chance? If you do, you could set yourself to Australia and watch on 9 Now. Could be a great option, but Selvin Davids now to kick this one off for the Blitzboks. 21 points, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep on reiterating that because that's how many they need to win this game by, and they have not retained the kickoff, although now they've ended up with it. In fact, Japan slapped it back, but end up losing the possession. Impivisa now to Zane Davids. Was a rough pass, so he does end up getting tackled early before finding his next pass. Roscoe Speckman now the overlap on the outside. Chance for Ryan Oosterhuizen to go down the wing. Japan's defence has to be very solid throughout this contest if they want to win. Wise Fat de Klerk on the bench. Shouldn't he be starting? Says Matthew Lang. Welcome back, mate. Oh, interception there for the Japanese. Just getting hands on the ball, and South Africa with Visa does manage to win the turnover penalty. Now, towards the 22, Roscoe Speckman passes to Davids on the outside. Doesn't go with an offload there, instead takes it to ground. Smart play by the Blitzboks. They cannot afford to rush this. They've got an open run to the try line with Zane Davids, and he will score at the first one of the match for South Africa. The first of many required in this match. South Africa need to spark today. Says Hillary there. We have got there, is that Irish reference edit? What's the question? Sorry, Connor. Go the blitz, says Sean. Tries Africa, says Lilia as well. But Zane Davids has got the first try of the match for the South Africans. Kicks will be crucial in this game. They can't really afford to miss too many. They could score 4 times, but if they miss all the kicks, they will still find themselves short in the differential. That one has gone over, though. Tristan Lades hits the upright, and it does bounce through to give them now the 7-0 lead over Japan. Now, I don't think it's going to be so much the problem of whether or not South Africa can score 21 points. It's going to be whether or not Japan can score a few tries of their own. And not about summarising here, says Doctor. And now Selvin Davids to kick this one off again, going for the short kickoff. Japan, one of the shorter sides in the 7s competition. That's going to be knocked on by Japan. And once again, South Africa in position. Selvin Davids, wide cutout pass out to Ryan Oosterhuizen. Tackled again, about 10 metres out from the try line. Japan finding themselves scrambling here. Shilton van Wyk with the forward pass, I believe it was. Oh no, there was an advantage for Red being offside. Japan are penalised. Shilton van Wyk trying to dodge the referee, also trying to dodge the defensive line of the Japanese. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Diving over. Karevi penalised. Impivisa over and through the post. Another try for South Africa. It'll be 45-0 to the box. It's looking that way at the moment. Looking extremely hard for Japan to stop this momentum of the Blitzboks. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if South Africa lost their first 2 games. If they're through to the quarterfinals, 3 wins in a row, and they are the gold medalists at the Olympics. So even though their form has been down, if they win this game comfortably, they are through, and that is the main thing that they will be using as fuel. Try South Africa, let's go. Box need to win by 40. To go through, they need to win by 21 with the points differential at the moment compared to Samoa. That one has gone over here. Unless, of course, it's based off some sort of head-to-head thing rather than points differential, but they've talked about points differential throughout the whole weekend. Samoa currently sitting with a +3 points differential, and South African starting with a -17. Short restart picked up by Shilton van Wyk. That is a quick try. Back to back to back there. They're already on 21, and they've still got another 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Tell you what, that is a great start for South Africa. They are looking like a determined team, a whole different side than what we saw on day one. And another try says LFG has to go the 10 metres, and that is exactly what that one has done. And what do they need to make it, or what do they need to make it for South Africa? They need to win this game by 21 points. Currently, after only 4 minutes, they are already 21-0 up. for Japan getting another hiding, says John MC. Do you think it was better with 16 teams than 12 teams? I think for the overall 7 circuit, 16 teams worked a lot better just because of the third place playoff games, or like third place going through. It's all right in this context, I guess, but in the regular season, I just don't really like it. I feel like it should be top 2 teams from each group go through, because you still get competitive enough. Quarterfinals, another ball is loose. Japan looking to pick it up. They have not got the possession. Again, South Africa in possession. They've had 95% of it throughout the early stages of the game. Ryan Oosterhuizen now out wide. Japan looking frustrated on defence as they just haven't got the ball. Blow full time now, says Sean. I mean, they still have another second half to get through, and South Africa are not done. Zane Davids has his jersey almost ripped off him, trying to make the tackle. Another advantage for offside against the Japanese. Impivisa looking to run this one forward. Only 5 metres out from the line. Shilton Van Vyk goes back across. Zane Davids, beautiful lap around there from the South Africans. Another try for Ryan Oosterhuizen. They have come to play here, South Africa, that is for sure. And the thing is, more than likely, they would be going head-to-head with New Zealand in the quarterfinals now. And if they play like this, of course Japan's defence has been a little bit suspect in this game, but if they play like this up against New Zealand are going to have a very hard challenge to stop the Blitzboks from playing the way that they are. Well, that's it, says Banzer Blaze. South Africa looking much better today, says Lilia B. And Try Time Boys, says Danayan. And also, we have there what a difference a day makes, says HD. But also, I guess, what a difference an opponent makes. Up against Ireland and New Zealand, they did struggle quite a bit. Japan, they just can't get the ball. And of course, if you're going to have a game where one side holds on to the ball for 7 minutes, the other side doesn't touch it, it's always going to be one-sided. But 28 points to nil at the moment, the way that it does sit for South Africa, this is looking like the biggest scoreline we have seen throughout the whole of the Olympics. Others of the Blitzboks I know, says LFG and Blitz are booked finally, are playing a team on their level that's going to be knocked on by Japan again. So once again, it's going to be the ball for South Africa every time at the moment that the breakdown, Davids, he will get himself another one. What I was going to say is every time they've had a restart, Japan can't get the ball. They're too short. They don't have anyone with the capabilities of actually catching a ball by the looks of it off a set restart. That is something that the USA were a bit concerned about yesterday. So, it just shows the importance of getting the restart right. And Selvin Davids, to a certain extent, he hasn't even been that precise with his kicks. He's just put height on it, and Japan haven't been able to at all claim that ball. And Blitzy's really choosing. Says Pixie Dust. Neil Powell a bit happier now. South Africa is on. Says Sanatane there. Great commentary, thanks. Says Sean, thank you very much, mate. We are back for the quarterfinal, which will definitely involve South Africa now. And they are going to be playing at 9 p.m. South African time, ladies and gentlemen. We will be scheduling the stream after the next match that does take place between New Zealand and Ireland. And bro, do you see the tournament? They just finished. We were mud in all the finals. Aussies were king of touching, says Doctor. And how has Ibn Itzbeth done so far in this tournament? Tell you what, I'd love to see him in one leg of the Sevens. I mean, we've seen some great Sevens players coming out of South Africa who are now in the Springboks. You look at someone like a Quagga Smith who really built his name from the Sevens side of things. What's up, Hamish? Kiwi community. You think a smart move, finish third and get who? And the quarterfinal is it a smart move? Says Warren. I don't think so. Like, to say that South Africa lost those 2 first games on purpose, which I think is what you're insinuating, so that they have an easier game in their next game, more than likely they're facing New Zealand, the last Olympic silver medalists. So, by that logic, I don't think they've done it very well. Is the quarterfinals today? It is indeed. First one taking place in 5 hours' time. Australia has the easiest road to the quarters, says Zion. And Blitzboks really chose the hard way to the middle this season. Keep scoring in the second half to make sure of going through, says Hillary. We have there's someone threatening the bookies, or the Bockies, if they didn't qualify, says Albert. And why do England not play in this? Because they weren't able to qualify. They were beaten by South Africa as Great Britain in the warm-up game. So because of that, they didn't get through to the competition. When are the semi-finals or the quarterfinals? Quarterfinals in 5 hours' time. Semi-finals actually in about 2 days' time, I believe, is when they are going to be taking place. They're a little bit later. The sides have a day off for the opening ceremony. Assuming South Africa win, who will they play? South Africa win this. They will face the winner of Ireland versus New Zealand, which at this stage more than likely will be New Zealand. Now, I don't want to guess that just because it could change. And then also the winner of that New Zealand the loser of New Zealand Ireland will face Fiji. So it's a pretty tough side of the draw overall. But when you've only got 12 sides involving the best teams in sevens, it's always going to be tricky to have an easy game. Was GB versus South Africa close? I think it went... What's the score in the end? I think South Africa won it by about maybe 10, I think it was. When will be the quarterfinals, says Danian. So for South Africa, their quarterfinal, I believe, will be at 7 a.m. New Zealand time. Right, Japan in possession for the first time in this match. It's actually South Africa who couldn't get their restart right. Can Japan score a couple tries? Make this one interesting going into the final moments. Tristan Lades makes the tackle. 40 metres out at the moment. The crowd are trying to get Japan over the try line. The first time. Nice run from Ishida. Just runs out of space on the short side. Let's go. The Springboks, the best rugby team in the world, says LFG, although their defence was lacking there. And for the Japanese, they move up to the 22-metre line. Ryan stays and in off his feet. So Japan now just taking their time, work out where that next pass is going to be. Another offload needed for Ishida, although it looks like South Africa are not contesting in the breakdown. They are happy enough to let Japan use up more time on the clock. They don't want to give away a penalty at this point in the contest. The last thing they want is a red card, because then, of course, not available for the next match. Japan just patiently trying to find that next pass. Looks like they will go out wide. Trying to find that structure. It is Ishida now. Take off 40 metres out. Rhino stays and giving away the penalty and off his feet in the breakdown again. Japan don't look too bad with ball in hand, says Lilia B. And yeah, it's just the lack of position, unfortunately, for them that has really hurt them. But for South Africa to lose their spot in the quarterfinals, Japan would have to score 3 tries in a row, which is pretty massive for them. And Irish to lose, says Frederick there. It will take 4 hours after New Zealand versus Ireland. Yeah, Ustays, and he's been busy in this game. His work in the breakdown, it seems very 50-50 at the moment, though. And that could cost them in the quarterfinals if he's only winning maybe 1 and 2 penalties and giving away the other like he gave away there. It's going to cost South Africa important position, which of course will not matter in this game, but in the future games, it could be something to look at. And come on, Japan, send them back to the Curry Cup. Says Skills, of course, Curry Cup currently taking place. I think it's taking place this weekend as well, if I am correct. Japan should have let Michael Leach play. He's got the height of for the restarts and the offloads, says Zion. I think Japan have definitely gone with more of that fast-paced side. But at line-out time, it is going to be a challenge, the size of this Blitzboks side, although they do not contest. They are happy enough once again to just let Japan either make the mistake and also just to test their defence. But here we go. Chance for Japan here. They're only going to be a few metres out and they score the try there, the Japanese. I love the cup of Curry Lamb. And New Zealand will have to play very well to beat Ireland, as they are one of the only form teams yesterday, says HD23. And also must have read my previous comment. Now they're performing a miracle, says Bruce, but this will be the try for Japan. Yes, it is. It's on the line, it's a try, and that is certainly what the Japanese have got. Currently 30 points differential between these two sides. 21 would be enough, though, for South Africa, which is why I mentioned Japan would have to score 3 times rather than just the 2. But Tristan Lades getting caught out on defence again. Multiple times throughout this competition that has happened. Ronald Brown trying to put that last defence in. Lucky try, says LFG. I think it was a well built up try. And South Africa, because they weren't willing to engage in that line out and in the breakdowns, they allowed the position to sway in favour of Japan to give them a few more chances. But that kick has missed. Japan needs 1 more point. And also Japan are quick and do a good job switching to the point of attack, says Gus. And go the box, says James Livingston, but it's going to be kicked off by Japan. They're trying the short kickoff and it's knocked on by Zane Davids. I feel like Japan have watched what South Africa did in the first half and decided we will just try and do that in the second. And it's going to be now Japanese scrum feed. There we go. They have just said if South Africa win this game by 21, they will. Right, they just said that South Africa won't want to concede any extra points, but then I think that's just in general, because no matter what, Japan need 2 more tries, and South Africa have to score at least one to put themselves in the box seat once more. South Africa is through to the quarter. Who will they play? They will face the winner of New Zealand versus Ireland. So it could be South Africa and New Zealand in a quarter-final of the Olympics, which would be pretty massive. Nice work there from Selvin Davids. In fact, no, Roscoe Speckman has got that one, and that will be the try for South Africa. That should seal the deal. He was waiting patiently for that chop or opportunity to intercept another try. Here's LFG. 40 points to 5 at the moment here for the South Africans. 3 minutes left on the clock. Afternoon, gents. Lovely match. Be careful. Says Daniel there in South Africa in the box seat. And good commentary again. Thanks so much. Says Bruce. But yeah, the next game for the South Africans, it will be taking place at 9 p.m. South African time, I believe. But we will be scheduling the live streams as soon as we can after the next game between New Zealand and Ireland. So be sure to keep an eye out for those ones. We'll also probably have a preview of that match alongside a couple of the other quarterfinals that are going to be taking place. And interception for Roscoe Speckman. There's Lilia in there as well. That one has gone over from Ronald Brown. May seem like a simple kick, but it still is needed in terms of those points. My shattered nerve. Well done, boys. Says Hillary. So yeah, that would mean that Samoa will be the team missing out on the quarterfinals the way that this one currently does sit. Japan would need 3 more tries to be able to take South Africa out of the competition, and I just feel like that is too much of a mountain to climb, definitely when they haven't been able to get a restart to save themselves. They got lucky there to show us what you are watching. Says Wayne, due to licensing, any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube, banned for 3 months, probably sued by the Olympics, but you can watch it on DSTV, I believe, in South Africa. There are a few free options if you have got a VPN as well, so I would recommend checking those out, but you will really struggle to find the games being shown live on YouTube, just because any match footage, straight gone from YouTube. I've seen it for the first day of Sevens when people were trying to show the match. They were taken down, and they're probably facing legal action now for copyright infringement. We have got there going for 1 point wins are enough. Shades of the World Cup, says Sean. His commentary is better than anything on TV, says James Livingston. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Call it Hamish, New Zealand versus Ireland, who's taking it. Bocker through now. Says Warren, I think that New Zealand should win. Oh, beautiful run there for Shilton van Wyk. And he will get himself another try. SABC Plus is also broadcasting the Olympics, people. And that is a free-to-air option, isn't it? In South Africa, I believe. A nice run from Shilton van Wyk. South Africans having fun now out there on the field. This is the type of freedom that they haven't been able to play with in the last 2 contests. In those tight, competitive games, they haven't been able to take those risks. Of course, you wonder what type of Blitzboks side we will see in the quarterfinals. And good to have good teams like South Africa in the quarters, says Jack. And another try, says LFG. And Van Wyk with pace, says Lilia B. But that one is kicked over by Ronald Brown. Now it makes the score 49 points to 5. I believe this is the biggest winning margin over the Japanese so far throughout this group. But it does just show, like, yes, you can lose your first 2 games, but as long as you've got a good points differential, definitely in this layout, because you don't get the bonus points for being within 7. If you're, like, losing, as long as you don't lose by a large margin and then absolutely dominate another team, you will more than likely go through. And that is what South Africa have found out. They have qualified now, ladies and gentlemen, for the quarterfinals. They will face the winner of New Zealand versus Ireland. And that is just around the corner, taking place in 10 minutes' time. But I have appreciated every single one of you for being here. Of course, we will be back for the quarterfinals. It has been confirmed. One of the quarterfinals is Argentina versus France, ladies and gentlemen. The other side of the confirmation will be Australia taking on the USA. So we've got one side of the draw that's looking a lot weaker than the other, if I'm being honest, because one side's going to be Fiji versus either New Zealand or Ireland, and the other side of that same, or the other one on that same side is going to be South Africa taking on the winner of New Zealand versus Ireland. Free to air in South Africa, you're supposed to pay a license. I won't pay it. Says Bruce, and Samoa deserve 3rd place, but congrats, Box. Says Skills. Yes, Samoa in their last game were very strong, but unfortunately not able to win it by that same margin that we saw by the South Africans there. South Africa make the quarterfinals, says Lilia B. And also Rasi is inside of your head, says LFG. And also we have got their Box in the driving seat. Let's see the next one, says was there from Daniel. But yeah, that will be 9 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Can't believe we qualified. I think a lot of people, to be honest, after day one, seeing 2 losses, am I right in saying quite a few people just said, nah, they're gone, rather than the chance of them still making it? Because I know that, like, in terms of after that game up against New Zealand, we saw a lot of people saying, oh, well, there's always next Olympics. And, you know, now that South Africa have made it to the quarterfinals, they are in a position where 3 games in a row, if they win them, they are Olympic gold medalists. Wins the quarters at a 7 a.m. New Zealand time or 9 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. South Africa gets Ireland. Who does New Zealand get in the quarterfinals? Fiji. So it would be the Olympic gold medal match from last Olympics happening as a quarterfinal. Awesome work, brother. Loving your work, says Doctor. Now, I should mention we have got the 4 quarterfinals taking place between 9 p.m. South African time and 10:30 p.m. South African time, all back-to-back on the channel as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.